Morning. I hope I'm coming in loud and clear today. I am obviously outside, but we are in this beautiful resort area. I hope you can see like the lake and the boats and everything behind me. But we have a really cool thing happening for our team today. We are doing a spa day for all of our past Diamond Club graduates. And I'm so excited about that because I just love celebrating what they have accomplished, but also Diamond Club is about to kick off again. So if you guys are silver and above, you hit silver in June and had 3 enrollments, that means that you likely will qualify to do Diamond Club in the fall. And if that's not on your radar, let me be the person to say Diamond Club should be on your radar. Now, if you're joining me on Facebook, the coloring is just not very good, but if you're joining me on Instagram, it looks a ton better. So if you guys don't like that I look like I'm in witness protection on Facebook, you can go back over to Instagram instead on Live Naturally Tools there and join in there. But we're excited about that today just to celebrate, and Diamond Club is huge. So one of the very first doTERRA events I ever went to was in Columbus, and I had just hit gold. So even my name tag still said silver because it wasn't like in the system yet. And I heard about Diamond Club, and I wrote on the top of my notes, and I still have this notebook, and I wrote, check into Diamond Club. And that was in, I believe it was in April or May of that year. And then I qualified for Diamond Club in June. I was like, by that time I figured out, yeah, I got to do this. And did Diamond Club in the fall, and it was massively successful and has changed everything for our business and has given us momentum. So I love Diamond Club. So just wanted to let you guys know that. So, okay, we are kind of on a roll for the next 4 weeks. We're going to do 5 weeks of basics. And I kind of love to break down basics. I was saying this last week because when we are building a business, the basics actually never change. How we go about them might change, and we are living in a changing culture and a changing climate, so we need to evolve along with that. But the basics themselves don't change. Like, we still need to be inviting people to hear about essential oils, okay? So today we're going to talk about inviting, which is probably one of my favorite things to talk about, and I feel most motivated and inspired as well to do more in this area and to step up my game. And I have 9 classes on my calendar for July. And so I've got to be inviting, because honestly, you can book your calendar up like crazy, but if you're not inviting and you're not inviting well, what's the point? Like, why show up if no one else is going to show up? Like, why put all that time and energy and effort into it and, plan and prepare and get excited about something that people aren't coming to, but half the time, many times, that's actually our responsibility. And so I want to just help you to elevate this process of inviting to very high in your mind, so that it's not like, oh yeah, I booked classes, check, move on. It's like, but did you invite? How did you invite? How many people did you invite? How many times did you follow up? What resources are you using that are going to be helpful? And I'm going to give you some new ones today. Okay, so we're going to dive in, because then we're going to the spa. Okay, so one thing about inviting is it will directly affect your enrollments. So if you want to end the month with, let's say, 3 personal enrollments, you need to be inviting a ton of people to your classes. If you want to end the month with 20 team enrollments, there's got to be a massive amount of invitations happening for classes and for events. Okay, looks like Instagram just went a little dark. Sorry if that went dark, guys. Is it better? I feel like I need to be like motion sensor there. Okay, so one of the things I want to encourage you to do is to get in the habit of inviting at least 3 people, 3 to 5, but I would say start with 3 if this is new for you, every single day for 5 days. So in order to invite them to something, you have to have classes on your calendar. And we've talked about starting the month strong before. If you missed that Tipster Tuesday, go back on Live Naturally Tools on Facebook and look up, I think it's called Start Your Week or Start Your Month or something like that. I can't remember what I called it, but it's going to talk about getting your calendar ready, because it needs to be prepped, and you need to have classes or opportunities for one-on-ones all scheduled in. You need to know when you're open for business. Otherwise, what are you inviting them to? And so we start inviting usually 2 weeks ahead of time. Well, we need to be using our calendar as a resource for that. So I don't care if you use your calendar you go and use your Google Calendar, whatever works for you, but you've got to have your doTERRA mapped out on your calendar because that actually drives all of my activity. So like this week, I'm looking ahead to classes on the 10th and the 11th, and those are the classes I'm going to be inviting for now. Those are the classes I'm going to be, actually the 10th, 11th, and 12th, I think I have classes all 3 days. So those are the classes I'm going to be like on it, inviting, reminding, reaching out, posting, cross-posting, all kinds of things, okay? So your calendar is really important, but let's just do a little bit of math. And you know, I always joke that math is hard and it's not my strong suit, but what if you invited 3 people a day for 5 days? So that's, you're inviting 15 people to upcoming events or the opportunity for a coffee, for a one-on-one. And then every week you did that. So for the month of July, you would have invited by the end of July 60 people to come and learn about doTERRA essential oils. That is a lot of people, and I could almost guarantee that none of you, I've done this, but none of you maybe have invited 60 people in a month to learn about doTERRA. And maybe you're like, no, you don't understand. I totally have. I posted on Facebook. So that's like hundreds of people are invited. And I'm telling you right now, that doesn't work. And it's a very passive way to invite, and you're going to get very passive results if you only use Facebook, okay? So you need to invite more. Now, if you do the math, usually when we invite 60 people, 25% won't even show up. So we're looking at 45 people that maybe will show up or say yes to showing up, you know? And of those amount of people, how many people you close is up to you. If say 45 people come and learn and your close rate is 50%, then you might bring in 20 new people team-wide or personally for the month, you know? If your close rate is minimal, you're just getting started and you actually have no skills yet, and that is totally okay, you still would close about 3 people because of the numbers, so, right? You still would get about 3 enrollments. And for a lot of you, that would be like incredible, right? That's incredible. And that's a good way to slowly grow your business. Now, we want more momentum usually, but still, the point is you have to invite a lot if you want to see success, okay? So keep that in mind, and maybe every day that's the first thing you do in your priorities. You're going to reach out to 3 people and you're going to invite them to another event. And then the next day, 3 more people, the next day, 3 more people, and you're going to keep going. If you have a class host, somebody else is hosting for you, you can usually get the information of the people coming, and you want to position it something like this. Hey, hey, Carolyn, my name is Dana. I'm so excited for Susan's party next week, or for Susan's class, or Susan's essential oil experience, or whatever you're going to call it, which PS, we'll get to that in a second, but call it something fun. And I was just wondering, I wanted to make sure I brought you samples, or I wanted to make sure that you get the most out of this class. Is there anything you're eager to learn? And you can reach out to people that way. And texting is a great way to do that, because texting kind of puts you in the friend zone with people, and it's like you don't really have to answer an unknown number. And so you can chit chat back and forth that way. So those things count as inviting too. But I think it's actually harder to get class hosts now in doTERRA than when I was first building. And so instead of constantly asking people to host classes, although I do have a couple every month, I actually create the events myself, and I have more events either in my home, publicly, at parks, and I'll give you a few ideas. And then I have a lot more power to invite and encourage them to bring friends, because no one else is doing the work necessarily. Okay, we'll get to that. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Okay, so what's working as far as inviting? In person is always going to work the best. So if you're prepared to invite people when you're out and about, have like drawing slips, have class invitations handy, those types of things are going to work the best. And we make up class invitations with beautiful pictures, the dates of when our classes are, and then we keep them with us. So when I say we, it's all the builders in our area that are working with me on public classes and things. And then when I meet somebody or talk to somebody or run into somebody, I'm like, oh my gosh, hey. And if it could be somebody already on my team that just, needs to be re-inspired, I'm like, hey, did you know we have these classes? I want to make sure you know. And here, take a couple. You can hand them out to your friends. So in person is always the best. It reminds people, like, I like her. She's fun. She's got good energy. Oh yeah, I used to love going to classes. I haven't gone to one in a while. And that's going to be the best way. There's new, with technology, there's always like a new app or a new way to do things. And so a couple of things that I would encourage you to do is you could start a meetup in your area. Look up Meetup, Meet, MEETUP. Look that up for your area, because you can start a meetup and create like a holistic community in your area. Several of our leaders have done that, or in the process of doing that in their area. And they name it something very like clean and easy, not like, for example, if your like doTERRA name is like Greek, nobody's gonna like look at that and be like, oh, this is like holistic wellness, So you want it to be something easy and clean. Sometimes it can just be like natural wellness group, something that's like, oh yeah, natural wellness. That's pretty all encompassing, like I want to connect with that group. And you can post your events and things like that. Another good app is called Nextdoor, and it goes like by region and neighborhood. And so if you're hosting something within your neighborhood, or the neighborhood of perhaps like you have a public space around the neighborhood of that public space, you can post and invite neighbors that way through the Nextdoor app. And one of the things I want to just remind you is people are starving for community. And you might have a great community. We do. We have a great community in our church. We have a great community in doTERRA. We have great friends. We have a great community within our school. And so I don't ever think, oh, I'm starving for community. But some people are, and they're literally watching these types of things to think, what can I go to? How can I meet people? We need friends. I've got no friends, and people value deep connection with one another. They do. And so remember to use these things. And you don't have to post on one or the other. Post on all of them. Post your event many, many places, because the chances of getting seen are greater. Eventbrite, I always post our event links on Eventbrite. That takes like 2 seconds, but then it posts, if you're looking for anything in our area, our events will be there. And so, even if it's one brand new person that just like, I saw it on Eventbrite and shows up, like you just never know what that can do for their life and for their health and their family. And so I'm so happy to put 2 minutes into an Eventbrite link, and it is helpful to get people to register for these events, because it's a sense of they RSVP them. Texting services are very helpful. If you have a series of online classes, online classes or public classes, which I do both of those, we have a texting service, and we just started playing around with that. I haven't used it up until this point. I haven't used it for BOGOs or anything like that. But when people come to our public classes, they can then opt in to be reminded about the future public classes. And so it kind of creates this steady flow. And so what you can do is, when they come to a class, is sign up to learn, sign up to be informed about my next class. You'll get a text, and then they're signing up, and then you continue to text out your future events to people. And some texting services are completely free. Some are as cheap as like $3.99. So it's not a big expensive way to get your name out there. It's pretty cheap. So keep that in mind. You can do it that way. And then door-to-door. I know this is something you're like, what? But door-to-door sales and door-to-door inviting and door-to-door being a neighbor is actually an awesome way to connect with people. And so myself and a couple of my top line leaders, we have a couple of like fitness and essential oils classes coming up, and we're going door-to-door. We're doing this next week. We're going door-to-door in a couple of massive subdivisions and dropping off an invitation in a little plastic bag so we can hang it on their door. And we're going to door knock and invite people. We're like, hey, we do these classes. It's fun. It's a fitness class, a free fitness class with a trainer and an essential oil experience. We'd love for you to come. Here's the information. And then on the invitation, it says, let us know that you received this invitation. We'll give you a free sample. So we're not sampling ahead of time, because sampling without proper inviting is like throwing oil in the toilet. But we're connecting with them. And if we connect with them at their door and we talk to them and we have some rapport, we'll give them a sample right then and there. But we're not just going to like hang samples on, 300 doors and hope for the best. Like that's not a good strategy. Okay. So, but that's another way. And so and in these upcoming classes that we have in July and August, I'm not doing one of these things or two of these things. I'm actually doing all of these things. But notice I haven't actually said anything about Facebook, because I have not seen Facebook events to work. And Facebook events used to work. That used to be like the only way people would find out about things in their area. And they probably worked when you were first starting your business, but they're overdone now. They're unseen, they're passive, and they're not working. And so if that's how you're inviting people, you're probably not getting results from that, and understandably so. Okay. In fact, when I get invited through Facebook for something, if someone didn't reach out to me specifically and say, hey, I'm adding you to this event because I really think you would love to come, and I hope you're free. We'd love to see you. It's been way too long. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll check it out. But if not, I don't even bother to give it a glance. So if you are using Facebook events, or you found that they have been somewhat helpful, make sure you're also giving someone the touch point and saying, hey, I sent this to you on purpose. This isn't one of those things where I'm inviting everybody I know. I really want you to come. That's going to go a long way, and that's a proper way to invite, and that would count as one of your 3 for the day. Okay? All right. Let me go on to the next thing. Okay, what's working for us class-wise? I know that the climate is changing, and I think that if you're doing Essential Oils 101 or Intro to Oils, what's working is oils, but what's not working is boring titles and lame classes, okay? And so I am imploring you, I think I'm imploring is the right word, to step up your game with creativity on your class titles. Now, we're not going to get so creative that we're speaking another language and no one could find us if they wanted to, because they don't know what we're talking about. But Workout in Oils is a really fun class that we're doing, and I have 4 of those set up for this month. One of them's on a Friday night, so we called it Unwind Your Week, and we called it Complimentary Workout Plus Essential Oil Experience, and that's a lot of fun. That's on a Friday night. It's like kind of like, let's end the week with some sweat. Okay, I think I put on the invitation too, everyone will leave a sweat and samples. And then another one is on a Sunday, so we're jump starting the week with a workout in essential oils. Okay, so you can kind of play with that, but even if I call it something fun, like move your body, you want to have a very clear picture of what it's going to look like, and then you also want to have a description in there too, so people know what they're coming to, and they know it's a complimentary workout. If you know a trainer, you have a friend that's a trainer, anybody like that, you can partner with them. That's another great way to tap into their network, and that's what we've been doing. We've been partnering with gyms and trainers and stuff like that. Conversations and libations is a good one. So you do essential oil chat with a fun mixed drink or a fun beverage that you guys whip up. And if you want to do mocktails, you can do mocktails. It doesn't have to be alcoholic, but the idea of having like a fun summer drink and to call it something like that is going to be more well received than Essential Oils 101 class. Okay, which doesn't sound exciting even to me. So we want to make it more fun. Ladies' nights are a blast. Having a ladies' night, like a porch night, again, these things need to be advertised in Nextdoor, because if you're having ladies' night at your house, Conversations and Libations, come over for essential oil show and tell and a fun drink, get to know your neighbors. People are going to be more inclined to come, and you're going to actually collect strangers that you might not have normally run into. Wellness from the Inside Out is a fun one, and do like spa products. We're going to do one coming up this month, spa products and mimosas on a Saturday morning. And it's just designed to be relaxing, calming, introduce them to all the beautiful spa products and skincare lines that we have so they can experience them, see them, touch them, that kind of thing, and get educated on those. We're doing an essential oil bingo night, and that's just mostly for customers, but they're encouraged to bring friends, and that's just bingo. That's all we're doing. Bingo, prizes, and fun. So it'll be a lot of education, and we'll have like peppermint brownies and, lemon water and stuff like that. Rollerball parties are always fun. First aid for summer is fun. I did a bunch of summer ideas and stuff on a Tipster Tuesday in the past a few weeks ago, so go back for more ideas on there. But the point is that your title should be catchy and clean. So you want it to be fun but also clear. And if it doesn't pass that test, like rework it. Ask somebody else. Do you know what this means? If you saw this on an Eventbrite, would you know what it was? And if it's not clear, you're not going to get results, because I don't want to go to something that I'm already feel confused. And truly the human brain is designed to survive. So if it's like confused, it's going to be like, I don't know what that is. I'm not sure. And I'm not even going to take the time to figure it out because I'm busy, right? So you really want it to be clean and clear. Okay, last thing on inviting that I'm going to do, we'll finish up here, we'll wrap it up, but I know you're going to be inviting more. I know you're going to be using different tools to invite now, and you're going to have more success. One of the things that I work with the coach, if you're interested in getting her information, just message me and I'll tell you who it is. But she's been incredible for me in my business. But we were talking about inviting, and she said, all you're doing is throwing a party. Okay, so when you throw a party at your house or wherever you're going to throw your party, it is your job to make sure that it is fun, that people would want to show up, right? That you've done your part in the party. Like, you have everything's ready. You've invited all the people. Everyone gets to be invited, right? What you don't have any control over is who shows up. But people want to be invited, right? They want to be invited to something. So when we're talking about inviting to doTERRA, inviting to use oils, inviting to start, inviting to the membership, inviting to the class, whatever you're inviting them to, that's your only job, is to invite and invite again. Like, hey, you're more than welcome. We'd love to have you. This is so fun. This is going to be great. I'd love to see you there. And just keep inviting. Just keep asking. And especially if you're having a variety of different classes, it's going to interest different people. So it's going to spark like who gets invited. Like, I think of everyone I know that I've ever met at the gym, who works out, who goes to yoga, who wants to be more fit. You know, I'm like, hey, I think you would really like this class that we're having. It's free. It's a chance to have an experience with a trainer. We'll do some essential oils. It's going to be fun. I totally thought of you. You should come meet me there, you know. And they're like, thanks for thinking of me. That's so great. So that's my job, right? My job is to provide the environment, to provide the party culture, and to invite them, and to invite lots of people. And then it's their job to show up. And once they're there, I'm going to give them a great experience. They're going to have an awesome time. But again, like, it's still up to them to show up. So if I invite 60 people to my class, 60, if in my mind, my class should have 60 people, one, I'm kind of delusional. Okay. Two, and I'm going to look at that whole class as unsuccessful if 10 come, because I invited 60, and in my head, I think 60 need to come. But I want you to change your perspective. And my goal is always to have 10 there. My goal is to have 10. So if I want 10 there, I've got to invite at least 60. So that way I've shot my, hit my target. If I want 10 there and I invite 12, I'm probably going to have 2, maybe 3 show up, and then I'm going to be like, I wanted 10. And so you have to kind of scale your numbers that way. If you want your house full of people, you're going to have to invite 100. If you want to host a big open house for your neighborhood, invite everybody. But you need to invite more people if you want to have a successful party. And the truth is, I want like 10 people there, so I'm going to invite 60. And if 10 show up, that is like awesome to me. That's how many I wanted. That's what I expected. I didn't expect 60. I just invited 60. I expected 10. And so when people say, how many people did come to your class? I'm like, 12. And 12. I'm like, yeah, it was more than I expected. It was incredible. And so you have to alter like what you think is supposed to happen in your businesses so that this whole process is fun and you can feel successful in it. Does that make sense? Hope that makes sense. Okay. That's all I have to say. So last week for basics, we talked about preparations. This week, inviting. Next week, we're going to actually talk about the presentation or teaching. So join me next Tuesday. And thanks for joining, everybody. I just want to say, give yourself a pat on the back, because I know it's summertime and people start to fall off the radar in the summer. But if you stick with this is a brilliant time to build. And honestly, for all of you, if you're going for the petal promotion this month to earn those free oils, which are, I'm so excited. I don't even know how to pronounce Kananga. Somebody tell me how to pronounce it. Kananga oil. I need to look up the pronunciation. I've never smelled it before. I'm excited about having a brand new oil. I'm so excited to have a 5 ml of jasmine and rose again. So I totally want to work for all of these, but this is going to be your key to do that. If you want 11 enrollments by the end of this month, you are going to have to invite, I would say, don't even stop at 3 people a day, but go to 5 people a day, every single day for 5 days a week, times 4. Okay, so that's 25 a week. You're going to invite over 100 people to come and learn about doTERRA this month. You're going to follow up. You're going to do a really good job with your inviting. You're going to utilize a ton of new tools to get people to come. And you're going to end up at the end of this month having the enrollments that you need to qualify for this promotion and have a really strong sense of momentum in your business. So there you go. That's all I got for you. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your Tuesday. If you haven't yet, apply for Diamond Club, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.